highest and the lowest of the human species. Lyndon Johnson
to the human species, then I think you can sit.
So it is now exterminating the human species with laughter because
progress as a human species, at least as much as our actual physical technology.
Being derived are members of the human species, but may not be persons. So what do we mean by person?
And it has to do with just the human species. I mean, not falling into these. They have to learn.
It's the human species, so the total world population, the human condition.
That the human species on Earth is going to go extinct someday. Not next week.
They actually believe that humanity, human species, has no right.
The character of extending the reach of the human species. This is something of immortal significance.
It's a choice. We can use our emerging technological abilities to improve the lives of the human species and create an abundance where
we are going to survive as a human species. And a number of astronauts have even said this. We must trek out. And I think that's
this idea of, birthing another human species through collective
Earth. This is the fundamental connection of the human species. And our place in the physical world.
The natural packages of the human species are local biocultural groups.
Some of the irrationalities that we see in the human species are exactly the same irrationalities that we see in other species.
And the increased awareness of our actual condition of being one human species in one earthly environment.
Now, by 2030, the majority of the human species will live in cities.
I think they know that this is going to happen.
From 300,000 years ago, most of the different human species lived in small hunter-gatherer societies. They had fire, wood and stone.
Near 2000, as a human species, we started to read our own code.
So why a single human species? Wouldn't it be really...
Are like the research and development division of the human species. So they're the...
With two observations about the human species. The first observation...
Therapy of the human species. The Irish poet Seamus Heaney said, quote, "Whatever is given can..."
Family histories, our ancestry as individuals and as the human species, the history of our...
So essential to the future survival of the human species.
Years ago, and then the human species finally...
Within the human species itself, by literally showing
our failures as a human species. Pretty much every invention in the whole world
that help the human species can rub along. And in the midst...
The early use of fire corresponds essentially to the beginning of the human species.
has become the organizing principle of the human species.
The infection of the human species with this virus has allowed us to be able to delineate much more precisely many of those circuits of regulation.
Non-human